All right, welcome back to the show. My guests this evening are a couple guys who are local creators to me here in upstate New York, um, and they are currently running their third Kickstarter for their comic book, which we I was the first one a couple years ago. How long was it? 3 years ago?
Two.
When was two? Wow, I haven't had no
2022?
No, we did this in
No.
2024 after we came out with
24.
the first book.
Wow, it seems a whole lot longer. But how are you guys doing? I know we've run into each other at some of the local shows and all that.
Yeah,
So what,
it's been good. The fact that we actually have the third book out is still a little shocking to us.
A lot shocking.
It's been exciting. And after we had that first one come out, we were like, in the beginning, we were like, if it's one and done, we're fine with it. We had a comic book made. That's exciting. But as soon as we got it in our hands, we were like, oh no, we got to do more of these.
Yeah, we need number 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and et cetera, et cetera.
Yeah.
so why don't you go ahead, reintroduce yourselves and briefly tell your comic book experience and what made you want to write your own. So,
Sure.
Derek, why don't you go first?
What's that?
Why don't you go first?
All right. Well, I mean, I've been collecting comics. I used to draw my own stuff, write my own stories, and then started going to shows. God, forever ago, and I kind of pulled John back in with me because he had stopped collecting for a little while and lived through me through conventions, and I would get drawings done, show him everything, show him comics, and he's like, "Oh, this is kind of cool." Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny again were characters that we played in high school when we rolled them up for Marvel Superheroes. Never a role-playing game. Yes, Marvel Superheroes role-playing game. Thank you, John. I always forget to add that. And so after John graduated, I continued playing. And honestly, we never thought about a comic book or anything like that until I had a picture of Thunder Bunny drawn by our friend Chris Ominga, and gave it to John as a birthday present. And he said after that he was hooked, and we would tell a story of Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny, to tables, to all our friends, everything. And people were like, "Well, we want that comic book. We want to read that now." And we laughed. We're like, "Yeah, whatever, okay." And then I think it was 17.
And we did that for years.
Yeah, years.
I think my first con, you gave me that in 2014. The first time I went to a show with you, I think was 2000, or at least in Baltimore, was 2016. I might have gone to like Boston before that, the year before.
Right.
So we had years of getting commissions done of these characters, and every time we had the commissions made, they always said that, I want to read this comic. I want to read this now.
Yep.
Go on.
But it was all. Oh, by the way, I'm Derek J. Bush. I'm the Pack Rat of the Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny, by the way. But yeah, so we were sitting there. John and I would get together Saturdays. We'd play video games, and we'd put Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny into every game that we did, from wrestling games to Soul Calibur, games, things like that. Even football games, we had Bruce Thunder Bunny and Doug Pack Rat playing football, and it just was awesome. And then we're sitting there the one day, and I hit pause. I looked at John, and he looked at me. I was like, "I think we should write a comic book." And he goes, "I was just thinking that." And he's like, "What's stopping us?" And so he, and I'll let him tell. He ordered books and stuff, but
so I ordered books on how to write comic book scripts. Both Derek and I had a background in writing anyways, and we've been writing, but I've never written a script before. So
nope.
I went on to Amazon and I bought like 4 4 books about writing comic book scripts. I took a ton of notes, and I came out with basically a three part arc for a story. And the way some of the books talked about it was like, for a 22-page comic, the beginning of it for the first 5 pages is sort of where you introduce the characters and the setting. And then the next 11 pages was you introduce the conflict or the villains, and you sort of ramp it up. And then the last 6 pages is the resolution of that story. Yeah. So I wrote 3 paragraphs of this story based on us playing those characters in the role-playing game and some of the stuff that had happened while playing that game. Mainly us fighting on the moon was one of the main features. We also included the fact that after I had gone away to school, Derek remade Pack Rat to the specifications that he always had in his head. Because when we made it, that first time we played, we totally rolled up all their stats randomly.
Yeah.
And
John rolled up Thunder Bunny randomly, so I was like, oh, I'll do that too. Even though I had the look of Pack Rat, I was drawing him. I made him when I was 10. This was when 13. I was 13 years old and a freshman in high school. And I was like, oh, well, if he did it random, I'll do it random. And Pack Rat was my combination, my 2 favorite heroes, Superman, Spider-Man, and Nightcrawler from the X-Men. So he was leapy, acrobatic. He was a wise guy. He was charming. He was fun like this. So I was like, all right, those are his powers: leaping, super strength. He's got claws, his tail. The random stuff was crazy. And so, then John, when he graduated, I remade him. But the random stuff he had was pretty awesome. And John, I'll let you finish this.
So, I had gone away to graduate school in Canada, and this is in 1992. So this is back before really the internet. I mean, you could email other universities usually, but nobody had private emails. It was landline phone. No one had cell phones.
Yeah.
So you had to pay per minute.
The Dark Ages.
I'm sorry?
The Dark Ages.
Yes.
Yes.
And you had to pay per minute, and calling internationally was astronomical.
Ridiculous.
So Derek and I started writing snail mail letters back and forth to one another, and pretty quickly we decided to just write in the letters, oh, I ran into this D&D character and this crazy thing happened, and then he would return with his characters, and we would just sort of move this story along. And I was there for 2 years. So by the end of those 2 years, we were literally sending 20-page letters
easily,
just filled with what our characters were doing. Nothing about how we were doing in our lives.
Yeah.
It was all about just this continuous story. And then one time, Derek wrote that he was standing in his backyard and a pink meteorite crashed in the backyard, and he went to investigate, and standing there in the middle of the crater was Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny back from the moon.
Yeah.
So, that was in 94-ish.
Probably, 94.
So, and so even then, it was like those characters got into our daily lexicon where we were talking about them more. And, by this time, I still wasn't collecting comics. Derek was going to conventions and he used to get, what's this character's name?
Blue Devil.
Blue Devil drawn all the time.
Yeah.
But then he started switching and getting Pack Rat drawn a fair bit.
Yeah.
And then it was in 2014 he came back with that image of from Chris Dominga, and I started going to the shows from that point on.
Yeah.
And so I wrote those 3 paragraphs based on this idea that we had sort of two Pack Rats going on, and there was this thing in the moon. So if you read issue 1, you'll see that Thunder Bunny arrives, and he's referring to Pack Rat as his best friend, but Pack Rat doesn't know he's his best friend. And we'll finally answer that in issue 3.
Issue 3.
But we haven't really kept it a secret. Everyone we told.
Right.
There's basically 2 universes. There's a Pack Rat universe and and a Thunder Bunny universe, and we'll find out that this is why he doesn't know who he is. Because in issue 4, we go back to the Thunder Bunny universe, and it's going to be a fantastic.
Oh, it's going to be insane.
Crazy, insane. I can't wait to write it. We have all the scenes broken down, but
yeah.
So then, we had those 3 paragraphs, and I said, all right, well, what's the next step? And it's like, all right, well, we got to put these into, a script form. And I was like, well, how do I do that? How do I take this prose paragraph and break it into panels? So the only way I could figure out to do it was to grab like a memo pad, the kind with a spiral thing, a little thing like this. And I broke it into 6 panels and drew little stick figures of what was happening. And I got to about page 8, which should mean, according to the rules of writing a script, I should be 2 pages into or 3 pages into the second act. But I was 2 sentences down into the first paragraph. Because ultimately it's easy to write Pack Rat fights a bunch of thugs. But in order to display that in panels, it might take a page and a half.
Right.
It took a lot longer. And I realized at that point I had written way more than we can fit into a single comic. So actually, I haven't even looked back at that in years now.
We should look at it.
So I don't even know if we're on track anymore. But we basically said we have enough material here for a 5 comic story arc.
Yeah.
So we'll finish up this first story at the end of issue 5, and right now we're doing a Kickstarter for issue 3.
It's out there. Go get it.
Yeah.
That would be great material for the collected edition.
Oh yeah.
Well, that's actually a really good idea, Chad.
Yeah. So
we could put that original 3 paragraphs in. This is how it started.
Yeah. Well, we'll have to look and see how well it's written, but yeah.
Yeah. Right.
No, it is a good idea. So we did that first comic, and we were very successful. We funded in under 4 hours, and I think a lot of it was because Derek and I had spent 3 to 4 years
building it up.
Yeah, marketing it just by going around conventions and getting things drawn and talking about it. And, I would say about maybe almost half, maybe half, I don't know, maybe a little less than half are people that are in the comic book industry who backed us.
Yeah.
Like other comic artists, other comic creators, they jumped on board pretty quickly, which was really amazing.
Very amazing. Very humbling.
Yes, very humbling. And
I know that the creators that are local to us are very supportive of each other.
Well, that's what I discovered.
That it's an amazing family.
Yeah, this industry really is very supportive and tight knit, and I just I didn't expect to be doing this in my life. This was not part of my bucket list or anything, to be a comic book creator. But boy, am I glad we started doing this.
Me too.
This has been fantastic. But all this sort of came with imposter syndrome, right? Because I'm an archaeologist for 34 years, and Derek's in law enforcement for 28.
I'm in my 30th year now.
Oh, you're in your 30th, yeah. So, I mean, it was like, who the hell are we to step into this world and say, hey, look at our comic book and enjoy it. We have something to say and be a fan. It was really daunting. But then when we started getting comments back and hearing how people loved it, hearing how some people are, or some of their kids are obsessed with it or reading for the first time, it's been fantastic, and a lot of that imposter syndrome kind of went away.
Yeah,
I mean, it's not completely gone, but it's
not completely. It's still there a little bit,
Yeah.
But like I had said to John, John was there. We were talking to Chris Campana, who had done an alternate cover for us for issue 1, and one of his comments that he made was, welcome to the other side of the table. And it blew me away. John said the same thing. It was just, I mean, now it's like we go to, I mean, I've gone to Baltimore. I've missed 3 shows, I believe. It was, I didn't go to the first show, the Baltimore Comic-Con. I missed the first show, and then COVID, they canceled it. And then John and I just
didn't go.
We
in
tried,
2018.
But 2018. We just could not. Neither of us had the money to do it, and I tried. John was like, "I can't do it," and I was like, "I'm still going to go." And then I finally, I couldn't swing it. So I've missed 3 shows of the 25 or 26 years. I don't know what year this is. It is for 26, I think 25, 26.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going before my son was born, and then he just happened to be born around the same time that they usually hold the show. So it's like
yeah.
Priorities.
Yeah, well, I mean, we've been doing a lot of local shows this year, like local library shows, and we've been doing this this thing at in the Village in Nassau. They have like an outdoor
music in the park.
Yeah, so they do it once a month. And 2 months ago, we had these little girls come up, and they were elementary school level girls, and one of them said that she was 8, right?
Yeah.
She was born in, was she 8? Yeah. I think she was 8. And, she was born in 2018. And it dawned on me as she got her dad to buy our comic and was like super excited from having this and really intrigued by it. And I was like, wow, 2018 is the year that we solidified the first script. It was when we went to shop for an artist. And I was thinking, like, that little girl in front of us is the same age as our comic. That's like our comic is our child. That would be the equivalent of our child standing there.
It was very weird.
And to think that we were providing joy to this little girl that's the same age as when we created this really blew me away. Like, this is what it's all about, really. It was exciting.
So what's the biggest lesson you've learned over the 3 issues that you've done?
One of them is that we are much better at drafts.
Yes.
the first draft was 11. We had 11 drafts. The 11th one was the final draft. I think we had 8 for issue 2 and then 4 for issue 3. So we're getting much better at writing the stories and getting what we want in there. And honestly, I wouldn't want to do this with anyone else. John and I, the way we create together, the way we write together, it's just amazing. He can take the chaos that comes out of my brain and he can put it on paper. I wouldn't be able to do this without him.
Yeah. No, and I wouldn't want to. I don't think this
me
like
either.
I said, this was not anywhere on my agenda. I mean, I wrote for years, and I did write. I have like 2 novels written. I tried to find a what is it called? A literary agent when I finished the first novel, and got, I sent out like 23 inquiry letters, got 23 rejections, and which is fine. That happens, and I always assumed I would have something published. I didn't think it was going to be a comic book.
Right.
But boy, has it been exciting and fun.
Yeah.
And I really enjoy that.
So is, this, you guys have a finite story that you're telling, or then tell more stories within that universe?
Yeah, we have a story that will finish at the end of the 5th issue, but we've already got an idea of where to go next. The choice will be whether or not we do it just as a graphic novel all at once,
right, or as a limited series again.
Yeah, again, and do it in a limited series. The thing that's going to be cool about it, and we'll tell you this much about it, is that we're planning on jumping from dimension to dimension to dimension to dimension. Every dimension is going to have something weird and funny about it. And what we're going to do, and this is just a passion project for us in a sense.
Yeah, absolutely.
And a vanity project for us, is that we want to get different artists, the people that we love and want to work with, to do 2 to 4 pages per dimension. So every dimension will be drawn by someone else. And we'll get our artist, Nate, to sort of fill in the gaps in between to move the story along. So writing it as a script is going to be a little more complicated and a little convoluted, but it should be pretty cool.
Yeah. And it's based on a story idea that I had come up with forever ago, and I was telling John about it. It was just going to be a story that I was going to write. I'm like, oh yeah, I'll write this story. And he goes, that would be a cool Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny. And I went, holy crap. I was like, all right, now it's an hour project. Now it's a Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny adventure. Yeah. And I think it's going to be brilliant. I can't wait.
Yeah.
Now, tell me a little bit about your artist and the other people that you're working with, and how that relationship is
oh my God,
kind of works.
I will say, issue 3, I think, is the best artistically drawn, colored. I think Nate Lovett, our artist, and then Sean Forney, our colorist, have just literally blown it out of the park with this, because I think they've really come to know the characters, come to enjoy the character, love the characters, and I tell you, I'm blown away by the stuff that both of them have put out. And then, of course, we have Tom Zoller with his awesome lettering too, and we've been going over that lately because we just have a couple more pages, but we've been going through that, and I got to read the first 21 pages of it the other day when we got the lettering from Tom. I can't wait. I cannot wait for people to get this book.
Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, part of our process is, we write the script and then we'll see what the panels look like, because, we might have too many words to fit in that panel that he drew. Or we had one situation where he drew it where a character that speaks third was all the way to the left.
It was on the left side.
So it would screw up balloons that way. So we were like, well, let's just change the wording.
Let's rewrite it.
He speaks first, and that.
And honestly, I think that helped us with some of the conversations. Yeah. I think because John and we met to do this, and we're like, well, what if we have this person say this, and then this and this, and he's like, oh, and it seemed to flow better. So it's cool. We have the script we wrote, and then we get the pencils, we get this, and then once the lettering goes in, it's like, oh, well, or, once we have all the pages, then we have to go through it and say, does everything that we wrote fit this? Yep. And we'll alter and change. But I think it really comes together as a great book.
Yeah. And there might be another reason why this is so much better drawn, in the sense that I feel like Nate is more invested, is because halfway through we went into the Marvel method, where basically I said, hey, there's going to be a fight scene here. You have 2.5 pages. It just has to end at this panel. Yeah. Start at this panel, and and here's some ideas that we have, but you could do whatever you want. And I felt that gave him more ownership to it, and you can really see it,
and freedom.
Because he reached out to us too. It was like, because I had forgotten. Because one of the things about Thunder Bunny is whenever he does a flashback and thinks about the past, it's in chibi form. Yeah. And because he's got a beard and glasses, it's all because when Derek got that commission drawn, he used a picture of me that I had sent him, because I had my front teeth smashed out with a racquetball racket. I got too close to a backhand in college. So I had a bridge put in eventually, and the temporary bridge they put in while they're making the real one, that glue is never as good, and it fell out. So I looked like some crazy hillbilly with a big gap in my tooth, and I took a picture of me smiling like, hey, and I sent it to him as a joke.
Tooth missing.
Yeah, and I sent it to him as a joke. And then when he went to Chris to get that commission, he says, draw a big fat guy in a pink bunny suit, but use this face.
Use this face.
And suddenly Pack Rat Thunder Bunny became me. But I didn't have a beard back in high school, so whenever they do the flashbacks, they have to have clean shaven.
He's clean shaven. Yep.
So I had missed writing that in the script, and Nate actually reached out to me. He was like, "Does he have the beard in this?" And we're like, "Oh God, nice catch." No, he doesn't. So that was the first sign. I was like, "Oh, that's good." And he's been doing stuff that it's like, yeah, I thought Thunder Bunny would be suspicious here, and I just. It's like, yeah, I love the facial the facial expressions that he does and stuff. It's been fantastic.
And that freedom with the fight scene really, really showed in issue 2. And it blew me away, so much so, blew John and I away, so much so that we put no words on it. We had, we add sound effects, goofy little sound effects that make us laugh. And we just wrote, I think up in the corner, meanwhile, or something like that. And then in the bottom, it was like editor's note. We didn't want to put any words to this because this art was just beautiful. Yeah. It's a 2-page spread where Pack Rat is fighting Crocodile and Kangaroo, and it's just awesome. It still blows me away when I look at it.
Yeah. Yeah. So I mean, we're happy with Nate, very much so.
Very much so.
Yeah. So what are you offering for this Kickstarter, and what have you learned from the previous Kickstarters that you have tried to, apply to the current one?
Well, the first one was, when we deal with stretch goals, Derek and I, because we didn't know if this was going to be one and done. We kind of went a little overboard, right? Because we wanted the things as well. So we got 6 stickers, 2 bookmarks, 4 prints that were the virgin covers of the main cover and the 3 alternates. So all 4 of them, which was fine. We had raised a fair bit of money, so that was doable. And then in the second issue, we didn't raise as much, but we came pretty close.
Yeah.
So we were like, we got 3 stickers, 1 bookmark, and the 4 prints. But this time, we'll probably do the 4 prints. We'll probably do 1 sticker and 1 bookmark. Just because
we'll see. We still have 5 days. I mean, maybe it'll shoot right up. Who knows? But it's been the lowest. I mean, literally no complaints because we funded in a couple days.
Yeah.
The economy is not great. People have other things that they need to pay for, and they're buying our comic book.
Yes. And it is an issue number 3, which is, more difficult than an issue 1 to sell or more difficult than an issue 2 to sell. So I'm just hoping that when we compile all these into a trade, people that haven't backed before will suddenly be like, all right, I can get the whole story.
Yeah, maybe now I have everything. I'll jump on.
Yeah, and that will be
plus 3 paragraphs and some stick figure drawings.
Yeah.
yes, and some thumbnails and maybe some early artwork.
So, speaking of thumbnails or stick figures, one of the things Derek and I were planning, because for every issue we're going to have the standard cover drawn by Nate, and we get 3 alternates done by artists that we adore and love and know and are friends with.
But, should I tell him?
Yeah, go ahead.
All right. Well, like John was just setting up, we do. Nate does their main cover, and then we have 3 alternates. So we already have all the cover artists. It's all the slots are already filled. And when I saw it, I had told John this, I think last year at Baltimore. We were sitting at the table, and I said, "Hey, I have an idea for issue 5." I was like, Nate obviously will draw the cover to the main cover because he's our artist. But Sean Forney is also an artist on his own. He draws as well. So let's have him do alternate cover B. And then I was like, and then Tom Zoller, our letterer, is also an artist, so we'll have him do alternate cover C. And then he looked at me, he goes, well, who's going to do the last one? I said, you and I will. I'll draw Pack Rat, you draw Thunder Bunny. So that's the plan for issue 5. So we have a couple years, or a year and a half to really work on our penciling skills to see what we
need to take an art drawing class.
Doing the old Tom King thing, right?
Yeah.
Yep. But we'll get it professionally inked, and Sean will probably color it for us, so it won't just
we'll probably have Nate ink it, Sean color it, and then Tom will do the letters for it. But Nate already said, he told us in Baltimore, he said that is going to be the best selling cover. He was like, because I'm going to buy that one, and it was just. We told Tom about it. He goes, "Oh yeah, I'm in." He goes, "I'm going to buy your cover," and I was like, and we told him it's not going to be great.
Nate said our cover will be the most successful one.
The most successful.
Like, I don't believe it. We'll see.
Yeah,
it'll look like children drew it. So,
as we kind of wrap up here, because I know it's late, and we. So what's the biggest thing that you have learned in this process, and what do you hope that people get out of the book, besides a fun story that definitely is a reflection of your guys' friendship?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you the one thing I would like people to know and take from this is if they have any desire at all to make their own comic because of Kickstarter, it is absolutely 100% doable.
Absolutely.
I mean, it is not cheap. It's an expensive project. I don't think that we've made our money back even after selling all the things.
I don't think so. Not yet. Or maybe close.
Maybe close. But it helps that Derek and I split all the costs 50-50. That helps immensely. Yeah. But doing this alone, if you can draw, you're already half the battle.
Yes, absolutely.
Because if you can draw, well, more power to you. And then you can just do this at your own pace and your leisure. Yeah. And all you need to do is raise money to get it printed. And
yeah. But yeah, without Kickstarter, John and I never would have been able to do this. And without fans and our friends and all this stuff that want to read this and poked us and prodded us and said, hey, we want this comic book. With Kickstarter, with John and I, we were able to do it. And if we can do it, an archaeologist and a law enforcement agent, anybody can.
Yeah. That would be my takeaway. Yeah.
Well, it is, well deserved. I know you guys have worked hard and, definitely done the legwork and all the other things to make, this become a reality. So, would you like to give one final pitch for the book and where?
Well, for anyone who doesn't know, it is a story of two superheroes who are best friends who basically fight crime together. Yeah. We refer to it as Marvel Superheroes meets Looney Tunes or Saturday morning cartoons.
Well, Saturday morning cartoons, yeah.
Because it's a very humorous comic, but it's very superhero sort of type of story. But as it's turning out, it's really a story about friendship. And issue 4 is coming up, within the next year. And man, we got some great story ideas that are just going to blow people's minds away. And it's gonna be
absolutely
some of the funniest gags we're going to come up with, and some of the craziest characters we're going to come up with. I can't wait for people to see it. But you should pick up, issue 3 so you know where we're coming from. And if you haven't
absolutely.
If you haven't backed it, pick up all 3 because
because it's a fun read. John and I still will read issue 1, we'll read issue 2, and we're still laughing at the jokes that we wrote. Yeah. So either we are really great writers, or we're really funny, or we just have a low standard. But I don't think it's the low standard thing. I just think we really work well together, and the jokes are funny, and the artwork is fantastic. And
it is.
The coloring is beautiful. The letters are extraordinary, and the covers are outstanding too. So
Yeah,
it's
and,
just
and literally everyone in the business who we have given this comic to have looked at it and was like, "Wow, this looks really good."
Yeah.
Right, all the way from Kevin Eastman to Priscilla Presley, because we gave
Priscilla
her that,
Presley, who we met a
gave
couple
her-
weeks ago.
Yeah. We gave her a copy, and she said, "Oh, this is beautiful. Maybe I'll frame it."
Yeah.
I was like, "Wow, okay."
Yep.
So
Pack Rat and Thunder Bunny go to Graceland.
yeah. So in order to find it on Kickstarter, all you have to do is literally go onto the Kickstarter website and type in Pack Rat, and it will come up.
And if it doesn't, you can write Pack Rat space and then it will definitely come up.
Yeah.
Or you could go over to Comic Watch and type in The Corner, and we've been following your campaign since you guys launched, and so
Yes.
Oh, that's awesome.
We follow. That's why I started doing that. It's just to follow creators like you guys who
Awesome.
have a great product and need to get the word out. So so we will continue to follow this project, and definitely when number 4 comes out, we'll follow that one. And if you guys want to do this again, we will do this again.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely.
But it's always great running into you guys at the local shows, or just in the wild.
Cumberland Farms.
Cumberland Farms, yes.
And speaking of the local shows, I mean, we are doing the Baltimore Comic Con. We have a table there. That's at the last weekend in September.
Yep.
We will be doing John's Albany Comic Con.
Yep.
In October.
Yep.
And we do that twice a year, so we'll do the spring and the October one. But I just filled out the form today. I'm gonna.
Oh, awesome.
We'll go up some weekend and
absolutely.
And buy a ton of comics that we don't need at his shop, and then give him the money for it and hand in the form. But we are also going to be walking around on Saturday. I think it's the 18th of September at the Granite State Comic-Con.
Granite State, yeah.
And we will have comics on us. So if anyone is going to that and would want a comic, we will be wearing most likely our trademark.
You'll stand out.
Yeah.
Yes. Our Pack Rat
shirts.
and Thunder Bunny shirts. Yeah.
Yeah, our Hawaiian shirts.
Yeah.
And you can just
we're really hard to miss.
Yeah. And we'll have issues 1 and 2 on hand as we walk around. So
absolutely.
Great. Well, best of luck as the campaign wraps up this week, and let's definitely do this again next time. And as always, thank you guys for your time.
All right.
Thank you, Chad.